We are now on Unit 15, Multiplying a Fraction by a Fraction, Concept Exploration. Our page is 142. I've just folded my paper so that we can zoom in on it a little better. It says work with a partner using crayons. I'm just going to use some markers I have. And it says to decorate 1/2 of this cake with cherries. So I'm just going to do this real quick. 1/2 of this whole thing. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So I'll be what? For every 2, I'll be shading in 1. Yes. Well, you know visually what's 1/2, don't you? Down the middle. All right. So we're going to just shade in some cherries. Okay, so that's 1/2 of that cake is with cherries. Now blueberries, the blueberries are a little smaller than cherries, so I'm going to use my smaller pen. But we're going to do 1/3 of this cake. So, well, if you want to think of it like this, if I put this into thirds, don't even think about how it's partitioned right now. But if I put this whole thing into thirds, think about where it would be. So these 2 parts will be cherries or blueberries. Yeah, these 2 parts will be blueberries, wouldn't they? Or I could do these 2 right here as well. So, because 2 out of 6 is simplified to what? 2 out of 6 is simplified to both divisible by 2, 1/3. So we can shade in 2 out of 6. Well, let's just go ahead and do it on this end. All right, blueberries on this end. Okay, very nice, very nice. We got those in. So it says, what fraction of the whole cake is decorated with cherries? Write a multiplication equation to show your answer. Well, I know the answer is 1/2 because they told me at the top, but I've got to try to figure out. And I'm going to write this in the pink color for the cherries. We'll say it's red, but okay, so my final answer has to be 1/2. So what I'm thinking here is how much is each one of these things partitioned into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 1/6. And how many times am I doing that? 2, 3 times 3. And 3 would be going over 1. And then think about it like this. It equals, if I went across and multiplied, because we are allowed to do that with multiplying of fractions. We've already discussed this. Multiplying fractions is easier than adding or subtracting. So 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 1 is 6. So 3 6 can be simplified because they're both divisible by 3's. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 1/6 and doing it 3 times is 3 6 equals 1/2. That is a multiplication sentence to show this answer. Now let's look at the next one. Let's change to our blue for blueberries. It says, what fraction of the whole cake is decorated with blueberries? Again, each section is 1/6. And how many times am I doing it? 1/6. And I'm doing it 2 times. So the 2 is a whole number and it comes over, or I could have said a 6 plus a 6 is how many 6? 2 6, which is, simplify, they're both divisible by 2's because they're even, 1/3. All right. Let's look at this next part. And we'll notice it says the model represents a flag partitioned into equal parts. How many equal parts are there? There's 3. How many parts are shaded white? 1/3. 1 out of those 3 is shaded white. And then it says, of the white section here, color 1/4 of it in green. So that means of this that I have right here, I've got to take it and split it into 4 parts. Well, we've been learning if you have a section and you want 4 parts, so you go 1 less than that number. So what's 1 less than 4? 3. So I'm going to draw 3 lines in here. 1, 2, 3. Did I divide this into 4 parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. I did. So one of those parts will be 1/4. So we're going to color it green. Now look at this size. Look at this side. What fraction of the whole flag is green? Write a multiplication equation to show this. What color of the whole flag is green? So, you could think of it like this. You could even think about of the whole flag. So if I wanted to go ahead and make this into parts, equal parts, then how many? 4, 8, 12, that's 1/12. That's my final answer, is 1/12. We just went and we found, now go back to this, 1/3 of the, well, actually it would, to make sense, it would make sense if we said 1/4 of the 1/3, because we started with 1/3 of the flag, so 1/4 of that flag. And then if we, remember how we said that of, it melts down into a multiplication sentence, multiplication symbol. 1 times 1 equals 1. 4 times 3 going across is 12. All right. So, do you agree that that is indeed 1/12? Is the green of the original flag, what is it green? It's 1 out of 12. And I'm just going to say this one more time. You're finding, so you have 1/3 of the flag is this color, but then you're coloring 1/4 of the 1/3. Again, 1/4 of 1/3 of means to multiply. So it looks like the word or the multiplication symbol, and we multiply across. And I just say pow, pow. 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 3 is 12. All right, based on your answers to problems 1 and 2, what do you notice about the multiplication of a number by a fraction? So I hope you're noticing that as you multiply fractions, the pieces get smaller, because we went from 1/4 of it to, we're talking about, to like a third of the flag, then you're doing 1/4 of it. So for this one, what do you notice about multiplication of number? I would say the size of the fractional pieces get smaller. They become smaller. So when you're finding a fraction of a fraction, it gets less. Typically, I think the main thing we think about is that when you multiply numbers, it's going to be larger number, but not with fractions. All right, it says discuss your observations with your partner. What do you wonder about multiplication by a fraction? How might you work together to investigate your questions? I think that one question right there is multiplying a fraction by a fraction. Always going to produce a smaller fraction than I started with. Question mark. Okay.